What is Anthropocene and what are we going to do or do not do about it? That's the question I'm asking today. A little bit different from the normal videos where I take a deep dive into bike trails and bike infrastructure of cities all across America. And I just wanted to talk about Anthropocene as a concept because I think it's super important to the work that we're doing here on this channel and what we want to advocate for. So I'm just going to be learning kind of with you today about what the concept of Anthropocene is. If you don't know about it, here's the definition according to the Oxford Languages. It's relating to or denoting the current geological age viewed as the period during which human activity has been the dominant influence on climate in the environment. So to kind of visualize this concept, I want you to think of the last time that you were in a plane. Let's imagine ourselves that we're flying right now and we're taking off from Wichita, Kansas. Zoom out and you look at the United States and you may not see much human activity from the bird's eye view of Google Maps. But zoom in and quite quickly, you'll start to see these odd looking circles, which just permeate the landscape. And I think you probably know what that is. It's a result of agriculture, right? And zoom in a little bit closer and you see roads, ways that we get all that agriculture and produce from point A to point B. Let's zoom in somewhere else in a different state other than Kansas, like maybe in Ohio. And we're going to see the same thing, plots of land that are clearly carved out by humans. And it's difficult to go anywhere in the world and be completely untouched by human intervention, human progress. And you can see that by the road infrastructure in America right here too, right? Everywhere you look, there are these lines delineating where our cars travel, essentially. So Anthropocene is essentially all about how humans are the dominant force in shaping what the world is to become and in shaping climate change and shaping the environment. And I'm on Wikipedia here. As far as what it says right now, as far as the time period, it's kind of argued that whether the start date has been proposed of ranging from beginning of the agricultural revolution, when we started planting things and staying in one place about 12 to 15,000 years ago, or to as recently as the 1960s. And, it mentions atomic bombs and fallout. Let's just look at a few other examples of Anthropocene in the world. I mean, look down at the Earth at night, and this is what you'll see. Google Earth, an amazing function, but it's about to reveal, Earth at night, right? There are very few, well, obviously the light pollution is all centered around cities, but you look at the Earth and you can clearly tell human influence doesn't stop. It runs 24/7, 365, and it's probably not going anywhere anytime soon. Look at things like the Hoover Dam, something that we often marvel at as a spectacle, and clearly, shaping the way water moves now is something that humans are a huge part of, right? Is changing the way water moves throughout the Earth. Think of something like a nuclear bomb, just utter destruction. And yeah, I think you could think back to the early days of planet Earth and being bombarded by asteroids. Some images. We don't have any real images, but there's going to be some visualization. And you know what? These asteroid impacts, like maybe the one that destroyed the dinosaurs, they don't look that different from the power that we hold in our hands as humans. And another example. Let's zoom into even some places this is in South Florida, in a place that's pretty special to me. Everglades National Park, right? There are obviously basically the Everglades is just this massive flow of fresh water down kind of the bottom thumb of Florida. And it's an amazingly important part of the ecosystem, especially as it relates to the use of fresh water, and an amazing wildlife there. And in areas where, it doesn't look like there's any human influence, you also have to think the impact of something like just a thin strip of road like Alligator Alley. In this canal here that runs all the way along it is not something that was there. It's something that was created by us humans, right? We use it to get from point A to point B. So even some place that looks maybe untouched is still going to have impact from how this affects the flow of water and things of that nature. It's hard to escape. The beautiful fact of the matter is that there are some places in the world, even in America, that are fairly untouched by human progress and our day-to-day activities. Obviously, climate is all around us. Air and pollution is all around us, and it's affecting. There's not one piece of planet Earth that has not been somewhat affected by humanity. I'm going to go out there and say that. The good news is there are parts of the world that really are untouched as far as the land goes, right? Climate and atmosphere is a different story. And that is a whole ball of wax that I think we really need to prioritize. But let's look at, on the bright side a little bit, something like Chernobyl. Chernobyl was a terrible nuclear accident that occurred on Saturday, 26th of April, 1986. And this is what it looks like today. About 1986 was less than 40 years ago. You can see how nature has taken back over. And in this article from The Conversation has a picture showcasing, wildlife, saying Chernobyl has become a refuge for wildlife 33 years after the nuclear accident, after humans moved out. And you can see how nature in this Ferris wheel, it's kind of been immersed. In nature, in a lot of ways, has taken back over. A lot of this, by the way, is inspired by the David Attenborough Life on Our Planet documentary. I watched this, and it really changed your perspective on our responsibility as humans to shape what results in our surrounding environment. And, the big mission on this channel is to kind of leverage the bicycle as a force for change on our planet. And that's why I wanted to bring up Anthropocene today and kind of explain what it is. It's really just important, I think, to recognize that as humans, we have the biggest influence on the future of our planet. And you can look at that in a good or a bad way, right? Like we're doomed, or that we actually have a say, we have influence. One of the most pressing things right now is cutting down on our carbon emissions. And we're making strides towards that with things like electric cars. And while that represents a decrease in our fossil fuel consumption, right? At the end of the day, we still need to get the energy from somewhere to fuel those electric cars. The energy doesn't just appear out of nowhere. There are other solutions to this problem that can help accelerate our progress towards a better future. And for that, I want to zoom in and look at a place like the Netherlands, in Amsterdam right here. If you see all of these green bike lanes right here, they have really made a change in the last 40, 50 years in their infrastructure to make their city and really their countryside, like these bike lanes go all around the Netherlands, embracing cycling and using it as a force for change in their country. So while adding bike infrastructure and loving bikes and riding your bike is not the end-all be-all solution to the negative impacts we're having as humans on Earth, I do think it is a vitally important piece of the pie to think about and mix into our overall strategy to make the world a better place. So interestingly enough, this video I'm making right now is going to have some influence on someone else, which is going to create change in the world. And all you can do is try to do it one step at a time, one day at a time, one video at a time, one bike lane at a time, whatever it may be. But I just want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for getting to the end of this video. You have a massive impact on planet Earth. And it's kind of your decision if you want that to be positive or negative or somewhere in between. But yeah, I encourage you to look a little bit more into the Anthropocene concept, that humans are having a massive impact on planet Earth and are really the catalyst for change, really ongoing. And definitely maybe give this documentary by David Attenborough a shot. Definitely opened my eyes to a lot. And he's someone that I aspire to have a similar career to in the future. I mean, he's 90 plus and he's still advocating for what he really cares about. And that is just so inspiring to me. Yeah, let's make a change, y'all. Thanks for watching. See you next time.